Hi everyone, now we are going to discuss about the ethics, code of ethics and code of conduct. So, difference of the both. Code of ethics is the set of principle of right conduct which help to decide whether one's action are right or wrong. Organization as well as individual have ethical standards. These standards help ensure the individual belonging to the organizations consistent approach in the carrying out their responsibilities, making decisions like decisions towards the clients, towards the persons, towards the organizations, have obligations because they are responsible for managing the resources for the community, provide and delivering the services for the community, and important decisions to be taken. And civil service function fairly, impartially, efficiently, and civil service decision making should be trustworthy, and confidence and integrity should be there. That's why this code of ethics is for the professionalism, for the responsiveness, for the impartiality, for the successive possible political government and democracy. And efficient civil servants must have set of values that distinguish from other professions. So it is like integrity, dedication towards the service, impartiality, political neutrality, anonymity. And these are some principles. It's important of code of ethics. Why we need the code of ethics? UN Convention against the corruption was there in America. So this is to reduce the corruption in the institution. Prevention of the corruption act is there. Code of conduct requirement for the financial and other disclosure and appropriate disciplinary measures. Transparency and accountability towards the public finance, and prevention of the corruptions. And the judicial and the public and procurement should be robust. That's why we need the code of ethics and code of conduct in the institution as a codes articulate the boundary of the behavior as well as the expectation for the behavior, and prohibit the bribery, and showing the impartiality to the citizens. And therefore successful code provide a standard for public servant to strive for as well as articulate a special sense of responsibility for the public servant. Professional standing code as well as ability to appeal the emotions, guilt, shame, conscience, pride in professions. These are some what is the characteristics of the code of ethics? See, code of ethics is generally remove what is the code of ethics. Like behavior, scholar and research are describing the code of ethics as a debate of the code of ethics are necessary at all because good people should know how to act ethically, and to guidance for the code of ethics is what is the societal needs, what is right, what is wrong. Psychologically research also there to guide or to introduce behavior developing the country as a critical to the functioning the public services. So it is code of ethics is the situation which is very moral situation. There's no confusions. So everyone clearly knows the ethical standards of organization. They more likely to recognize like what is right or what is wrong. And code of ethics is corruption will be reduced, for that environmental behavior, ethical behavior will be increased. So code of ethics is increase the probability that people will behave in a certain way. So it is focused on to reduce the improve the ethical acts and expectations which is required for the civil servants towards the job is more important. And good code of ethics can focus public servant on action that result in doing the right things for the right reasons, and repeat it over time. It will inculcate the individual ingrained values in the organizations. And government process will never be cumbersome now. There will be fairness, efficiency, transparency, accountability, and justifiable behavior also. Code of ethics is absolute or moral autonomy, or absolute the public servant from the obligation to the reasons. Code of ethics provides the strong prima facie because it is expectation in norm in not to violate code, such as violation can only be justified because of higher ethical principles. So that's why code of ethics is protecting the lives of the workers, has higher values, obligation to the objectivity and the procedure. Code of ethics is express the public service commitment toward the set of moral standards. And individuals are comfortable working as civil servant and code can clarify the expectations also. And it is the provide the pride of belonging to the group or a professions. Pride is the critical emotions to motivating the individuals and their professions also. So that's why role of principles of the values in the ethics is for the a general law to rule that guide behavior or the decision, whereas values articulate an aspiration of ideal moral state also. So, an ethical principle is a statement concerning the conduct or state being that is required for the fulfillment of the values. Justice may be considered as a significant value, and it terms itself does not tell us what rule for the conduct state of society. But if we include justice as our value system, we would need a principle of justice to show us what pattern of action would refer justice as a value. So, this is the code of ethics describing about the justice also. Now, this was the code of ethics. Now, we are going to discuss about the code of conduct. See, code of conduct is to reduce the conflict of interest, self-dealing, bribery, and inappropriate action. These are the code of conducts. Code of conducts is belief most often they fairly lengthy and detailed also. So code of conduct is protecting our reputation of the government, and most code of conduct focus on the do nots rather than affirmative obligations. So they detail specify action in which employee are not into engage. So code of conduct do change over times, but it is sometimes useful to look as historical standards also, like behavioral problems, how to resolve the technological and social circumstances. So that's why standard of code of conduct is very important. Like it is different from the code of ethics also, because code of ethics is quite subjective, but it is quite objective. Prejudices discipline and proper administration of the government, like there should be honesty, trustfulness, no false claims, no drunkenness, no against the government, no insubordinations, no negligence, no falsification, no suppression, attempt to illegally keep records, there should nothing be that. Sleeping on duties, there should nothing be that. Loitering, unruly behavior, no. Dereliction of duty, no. So lots of no's are in the code of conduct. Okay, so it's emphasizing what one should not do. There's little emphasis on what public officials should do. So this is no, 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 and no. Okay. So code of conduct is like having explored the positive and negative aspect of the code of ethics and code of conduct. It is important to note that there are no pure model, but however government are on the continuum between code of ethics and code of conduct. The public management context critically important. So study showed the relationship between the managerial system and several countries and use of code of ethics as a integrity and code of conduct as a compliance base. Okay, code of ethics is based on the integrity, but code of conduct is based on the compliance. See, code of conduct, the stage of development is not determining others variables such as the population of a country or its public service regime. So it is explain their success also. Public administration system, why we need the code of conduct. See, so public administration is very sophisticated. That's why like there is a lots of scholars, they derive the public administration as a public service system. So no one right way to do this, but it is clear that codes rely on solid public administration system to be effective. So for its effectiveness and based on the merit system can be important that there should be a code of conduct. So that's why professional standards are maintained in the France is also code the public standards is maintained in the France. And successful public administration regime, there is a dynamic focus on socialization and communication. So public standards are special salary scheme, job security, benefits, socialization, rewards for the public servants. It's depends on the public service. So first, its Indian Code of Ethics was 1997. What was the Code of Ethics in the India? It was the public service should assist the government to formulating, implementing the policies. Employee in public service should uphold the rule of law, respect for the human rights and solely public interest, probity and integrity. They should conduct themselves such manner that public feels the decision taken or recommendation made them objective and transparent, and to promote the improper gains and political party in power for themselves, that should be not there. They should not seek to frustrate or undermine the policy decision action taken in the public service. And employee in public service has reasonable ground to believe that in she is believing required by superior authority. So there should not be any illegal behavior, okay, and conflict of interest should not be there. Public service should refrain from decisions which are calculated to benefits any particular person. So shall disclose any clash of interest, conflict between the public interest and the private interest also. So they should maintain interdependence and dignity, impartiality and trust and respect also. And public service is multidisciplinary, that's why lots of accountability needs from the citizens also. Employee in the public service should be accessible to the people and practice accountability to the them. Quality of the service, timeliness, courtesy, people orientation, readiness to encourage the participation and form participation with citizen group, and should be consistent, equitable and honest. Should accept obligations to recognize and enforce citizen right for speedy redressal, and should have concern for the public assets, funds, avoid wastage, extravagance, ensure the effectiveness and efficiency, and then abuse of the office positions, and responsibility to take decision merits on merits and position of trust, and must not use their official position to influence any person to enter into financial or other arrangements. So the code also deal with the issues such as public comments, release of official information, integrity, role of public service and continuous improvement through professionalism and teamwork. So that's why second initiative for the public service values was given 2006, public service bill 2006. It was like a management code was given in that, like there should be neutral merit based system, accountable civil servant, so function in the political manner should not be there. Democracy, nationalism, sovereignty, integrity of the India should be maintained. Act of objectivity, impartiality, honesty, equality, fair and just manner. Act with integrity and in a courteous and just manner. Establish high standards, ensure quality of service, effective working, prompt decision making, accountable of the decision. Establish merit as the fundamental principle of employment, promotion and placements. Discharge functions with due regard of diversity of the nations. No discrimination on the base of caste, community, religion, gender, class, duly protecting the interest of poor, underprivileged and the weaker section. Provide honest, impartial and frank advice to the political executive. Ensure that public money is used with utmost economy and care. So all India Service Conduct Amendment Rules 2014 was there. This rule was before that All India Service Rules 1968, and All India Sub Rule 1, Sub Rule 1A, 232, 2A, 3, 2B, and All India Service Conduct Amendment Rule 2014 was given there. This was high ethical standard, integrity, honesty, political neutrality, promoting principle of merit, fairness, impartiality, discharge of duty, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, particular to the weaker section, courtesy and good behavior. So commit itself to and uphold the supremacy of constitution and democratic value, defend, uphold the sovereignty, security of the state, integrity, decency, morality, maintain integrity of the public service, take decisions solely in the public interest, use of the public resources efficiently, economically, declare any private interest relating to the public duty, step to resolve any conflict between the protect the public interest, no place himself under financial or other obligations, and not misuse his position on civil servant, and not take decision in order to derive the financial or material benefits. Make choices, take decision and make recommendation on merit alone. Act with fairness and impartiality and not discriminate against anyone, particularly the poor and underprivileged section. Refrain from doing anything which is or may be contrary to law, rules, regulation and established practice. Maintain discipline, discharge of his duties and be liable to the implement the lawful order, duty and communicate to them. Be liable to maintain confidentiality in the performance of the official duty required by any law. So regard to the information disclosure which may prejudicially affect the sovereignty, integrity of the India. So security of the state, strategically, scientific, economic interest of the state, friendly relation with the foreign country, or lead to incitement of offense in the illegal and unlawful gains should not be there. So discharge his duty with the highest degree of professionalism and dedication to the service. This was the public service required.